rundown. Cardi B caught us back at Madonna for saying she paved the way for her WAP. Is Cardi overreacting? Or is it all just a misunderstanding? I'll give you my thoughts. The verdict is in on the highly anticipated third part of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. Did it give what it needed to be given, or did it leave viewers with more questions than answers? After a laundry list of brands finally cut ties with Kanye West over his anti-Semitic comments, many are asking, what took him so long? People are also asking, why is there so much outrage over his anti-Jewish comments, but the same energy wasn't given towards his anti-black comments? Plus, we paid tribute to the hilarious Leslie Jordan, and Rihanna is back with a brand new track. All that and more on The Rundown, featuring your host, Chris Avalon.
Well, hello. How you doing? Welcome to a brand new episode of The Rundown. I'm your host, Chris Avalon, and yes, I am riding blind again. I got a number black screen, but luckily I have my little monitor over in the corner so I can see myself. But anyway, without further ado, it's a live show. How y'all doing? Thank you for joining me again for another week, another messy week of topics. It's a lot to get to. It's a lot to talk about. It was so much going on this week. I literally was trying to figure out last night, racking my brain, when I was putting the show together, what topics are we going to talk about? What's the most interesting topic that we could bring up? The other topics, if y'all want to get to know like all the other tea, you could definitely go over to chrisavalon.com and check those out. But the most important ones that I felt like I needed to just go in and let have my opinion, that's what we're going to talk about on the show. So you already saw the opening on some of the topics we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Cardi and Madonna and that whole situation. We're going to talk about Kanye West and the basically the downfall of his career, the downward spiral and the downfall of everything that's going on. Is it a long time coming? Like, what took a lot of these organizations so long to drop him after the whole anti-Semitic comments? And people were complaining that, well, how come that when the Jewish community came out and said, they weren't going to put up with Kanye's bullshit, that everybody got together and pretty much just put a kibosh on everything that's been going on. There's even more outcome of all of this, meaning, more people was dropping him. Child, I even saw one meme today where they were talking about that Kanye, that Grindr officially cut ties with Kanye. Ye cut ties with Kanye, and I'm like, okay, y'all just do it too much. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised about the Grindr quiet as his cat, because sometimes I look at Kanye and I be like, he got to be, part of the Rainbow Coalition in some sort of way. But anyway, so we have that to bring up. We're going to talk about, Ryan Murphy finally is speaking out about all the drama surrounding the Dahmer series. He finally spoke out about it. There's been accusations put up against him. And I told you I can't see because my screen is dark. But anyway, so Ryan Murphy is finally speaking out about all the drama that's been going on with the Dahmer series, saying that he did reach out to the family members, because the family members out here saying that they didn't hear anything, they didn't hear a peep, they didn't hear a doula peep from him, and he said some stuff, and the attorneys that represent some of the families said some stuff, and we're going to get into that. Plus, we got a lot of Real Housewives news. There's tea going on in regards to Kim Zolciak about to be homeless. Nene Leakes recently did an interview this week with Larry Reid. We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about Andy Cohen's apology. And I want to thank all of y'all for actually, when I posted that article, it was literally like the tea just spilled and it just came out. And I just want to thank everybody, because I see the numbers. Like when y'all go to the website and y'all read the article, like it definitely, that article spiked when I did that story. So thank you all for, watching. I mean, not watching, reading. Well, you're gonna watch this when I talk about it. But thank you all for reading that article. And yeah, we're gonna get into that, and if I'm buying what he's selling. Plus, we got to get into this damn reunion. The third part came out. I'm not going to spend way too much time, or try not to, like I did last week, because we just need to get to the meat and potatoes. And the meat and potatoes, what they knew they was going to have us waiting for, was the tea between Kathy Hilton and Dragon Miss Erika Jayne, tight ass, and Lisa Rinna and them damn lips. Child, can I tell y'all, if you want, like, I understand as how girl, if y'all want to see some scary shit, like if you want to be frightened, watch The Real Housewives on a 4K television. Basically with 3D. And you get to see like all the sins, child. Like you literally see all the surgeries that these girls have had, and they think they look cute. But I lived in LA for a moment, so I was like, y'all bitches look like something out of a horror movie. So if y'all want to be scared for your life, definitely watch the Real Housewives reunion, especially the Beverly Hills one. So we got all that, and plus we got a tribute that we're going to do for Leslie Jordan. So before we get to these topics, I just want to say this. Click like, subscribe to down there, between me down there, for all the topics and stuff, and my websites. So my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok, all of that good stuff. Definitely follow, like this show, because it definitely helps with the algorithm when you do. So and I appreciate all of you for liking, supporting, and all the new subscribers that I've noticed I've gotten in the past month. So thank you all. And without further ado, let's get to these stories, because I do not want to be like long-winded like Dorit doing this show. But she was long-winded in this reunion because she barely said a peep. But we'll get into all of that when we break down the show. I don't want to give too much away. So the first topic we're going to get into is, let's talk about X-Rated NYC. So X-Rated NYC concluded with their finale this past Monday. And the show's cute or whatever. I mean, I'm gonna get into my overall assessment when I break it all down. But for the most part, I have to say this: it's apparently a huge hit, regardless of what people say. I have been a staunch supporter. I want to also thank Boomer Banks and the cast of the Dante Cole, Joey Mills, Max Connor, for liking and resharing a lot of my reports on the show and some of the things I was asking. I was recognizing some of the girls up in there. And I'm actually hoping, because of the way the finale was, this season finale wrapped or ended, sort of, that they bring on Joey Mills's boyfriend to join the cast of the next season. He also does adult entertainment. But I'll say this. So congratulations to the show, because apparently it's been renewed for 2 more seasons. So apparently it's doing really well over at Out TV. They have so many shows over there. They got Go for the Gold, which I think they're currently filming the 2nd season. I also heard they got a bigger budget. So they got Go for the Gold. They got Camp Wanakiki. They got a lot of shows over there. Call Me Mother, I believe, is coming out with their season soon. I think they show, like, you can see the first 15 minutes or something on YouTube. But yeah, so they have a lot of shows on the network, but the one that's resonated the most with, and they also have Slag Wars, a bunch of those other shows, and the show with Tiffany Pollard hosting that 7 Deep was on, and oh my god, who's the other porn star that was on there? Castadero. So that show was on there. I think that's the 2nd season as well. X-Rated NYC is coming back for 2 more seasons, and now also they're doing an LA version. Oh, I just saw myself. What's going on? Okay, I guess it's going in and out. But anyway, so so produce the show, which is produced by Daddy TV, X-Rated NYC. For those of you who have not watched the show, follows 4 queer porn superstars: Boomer Banks, Max Connor, Joey Mills, and Dante Cole, as they navigate life, romance, and drama on the East Coast. Now, the show started back in September and ended on October 24th. And here's what Daddy TV co-founder Topher Kusumano had to say in a release said, Daddy TV is thrilled to continue our partnership with Out TV to create unique sex-positive content for queer audiences. They have plenty of that on their network, by the way. The viewers' response to X-Rated has been incredible, and we can't wait to showcase even more adult superstars in a whole new light. Well, I'm excited about that, because I was going to say, like, they cannot go into season 2 with just the same 4 adult film stars. There are enough, I know quite a few adult film stars who live in New York that make a lot of content for OnlyFans and this, that, and the third. And I think those are the people you need to bring on. You need to bring on some OnlyFans people and intermingle with them. You could also bring on some drag queens. Like we saw that they had Joey Mills interacting with Jasmine Rice LaBeija. Like she was on a few episodes. So why not bring in drag queens? Drag queens, go-go dancers, porn stars all work hand in hand. They all kind of intermingle within the nightlife scene and the industry, that sort of thing. So I don't see a problem with bringing a lot of other people on the show. Child, I even said they should have did like a Real Housewives with drag queens. That was always like an idea I thought about. So that Out TV COO Philip Webb also added this, said X-Rated NYC quickly garnered a large audience that is continuing to build. The immediate success of X-Rated NYC alongside other Out TV originals confirms our strategy of focusing on truly original queer programming. And I was sitting there trying to think, because I meant to do this, but I think I forgot. I was like, who should they get that are adult film stars from LA that they could bring on? I was thinking, because they got Boomer Banks on the East Coast, you could either bring Bo Banks or Brock Banks. You can have them because they're out on the West Coast. You can have them on the show. Oh my God, who's the one that came out with the SAD song? I was even saying that he should be on there. I forgot his name, and I freaking tweeted him the other day. That's embarrassing. But I was like, so I think in LA they have LA is considered the adult film capital in so many ways. Like that's literally the place that you go where they film a lot of the content. So that would be, in my opinion, the perfect place. There's plenty pick of the litter that they could get, and they'll probably have a lot of, they'll be able to shoot a lot around West Hollywood. So it'll be interesting to see who they pick over there. I did feel at times that the show was that a lot of the reality stuff was a bit concocted, like it wasn't realistic, that it felt staged at times, and it felt a little fake, as some people say scripted, but I don't think it was scripted. It just felt like, okay, somebody came on, this is a scenario we need to, I think this would be really funny, kind of play this up, and it's like, okay, y'all give me like that porn movie acting before they get to the hunching, which is not that, like, not good acting. So I was getting a little bit of that. So hopefully next season, now that we know what's going to happen, that they could be a little more real with a lot of the scenarios, or more convincing with the scenario, even though, reality TV is technically what I call improvised television. So congratulations to Out TV. Y'all got a hit on your hands. And I do think it's about time that we get a show that kind of follows in a similar form, like The Real Housewives, that feature gay men, because, we have actual powerful gay producers like Carlos King and Andy Cohen, who clearly feel like men aren't that entertaining. No, straight men are not entertaining on a show, on an ensemble Real Housewives-esque type show. But if you stick 7 homosexuals in a room together, it's gonna be some drama. Trust and believe. So I definitely see what that is, but apparently they don't see it, because they're the types that just, let's big up women and all other stuff. Those are what I like to call the self-hating ones. But anyway, let's move right along. So congratulations to y'all, and let's move on to this next topic, which would be Ray Ray. So Rihanna came out with a brand new single yesterday called Lift Me Up. And I know a lot of people was excited. They were anticipating this new single coming out. I was wondering what it was going to sound like. And because they had the world premiere of Black Panther, I think it was on Wednesday in LA. And I've been seeing a lot of people dressing up as Namor. I'm actually going to post those pictures around when it gets closer to the release of Black Panther, but I'm definitely loving a lot of the Namor cosplay. I had a friend of mine, and I'm gonna, when I come around to it, because when I talk about Black Panther, I'll probably be bringing a lot of these photos for the show that we can kind of bring in, so we could talk about, like, we already know about Black Panther, child. We went up and praised Black Panther when that movie came out, the first one. And now that Chadwick Boseman's gone, I'll be praising it and bigging it up and talking about it again. But now that we have this story coming in where Namor is not, white, that they made him an indigenous person, or this is about an indigenous tribe, which I think only a movie like Black Panther could pull off because it's got a multitude of people of color that's going to be in this one movie, which I think is genius. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. I was a friend of mine, okay, and they don't know this, but child, they're about to be mad, but whatever. So before I get to the Rihanna thing, a friend of mine went and got tickets because we normally I hang out with a lot of my close friends who are straight from most of my closest friends are heterosexuals. I know a lot of people would be surprised, but it's I hang out with more straight people than gay folks. But two of my best friends, we got tickets for Black Panther, but they got it for the following week. And there are certain films that I'm like, okay, I don't mind if you do that, but for a film like this, I'm like, no, I can't. So I managed to find a really good seat and a really good ticket and at the Lincoln Square location on that Saturday that of that weekend that it comes out. So they got it the following week, and it's I'm not going to be able to avoid the spoilers because I already know somebody is going to say some shit. It's going to piss me off. So I was like, I need to see this movie that weekend. We always go to the IMAX or whatever, but everybody take all the good damn seats if you don't get them right away. So I managed to get a ticket. I didn't tell them I'm going by myself. And so I'm gonna go because I need to see this movie and I need to be a part of this moment and this movement because I saw the first one open a weekend. I can't not mess this up and just wait another week and then try my best to avoid spoilers because I'm always on social media. So it's gonna be hard for me to not get a spoiler. Whether it be from, other blogs, other reporters, people on social media that want to be the first, that want to be a dick and reveal stuff. So I had to go get me a ticket. But anyway, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing the film. I'll bring up the cosplays and stuff. Even a friend of mine, Miguel, who's Filipino, he was saying that he felt that he didn't want to feel like he was culturally appropriating the character, so he didn't want to dress well. And mind you, he looks Mexican, but he's Filipino. And I'm like, first of all, Marvel changes people's races and genders all the time. So I don't see that it's wrong if you want to dress up as a character that you resonate with or you like, or you could do something with the costume. So I don't see that as a problem. Namor is not technically an indigenous male. He was made that for the movie. Just like we got a black Superman, we got a white Superman. They change the races of superheroes all the time. We have a female Iron Man who's going to be Riri Williams. Speaking of Riri, we're going to get to Riri in a minute. But we have Riri Williams who's going to be in Black Panther, who is Ironheart, who is a female Iron Man. So there's different, they change the gender or the race and things all the time, or they create these characters. So I don't see it, if you're respectful, I don't see why it's a problem. I just feel like there's be too many people on social media that want to complain about any little, you don't have a right to dress like this. It's like, eat a dick. But anyway, so to the Rihanna song, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought vocally she sounded great. The song does feel a little anticlimactic, but I realized because I saw people online, the Navy of course was living for the song, so my day was in tears. I wouldn't go that far. Personally, I felt like for me, I was in tears when I saw the trailer to Black Panther, when Ramonda says that scene where that my whole family is gone and all that stuff, where she's giving that whole powerful speech. I felt that in my spirit, and I welled up and I teared up. But for the song, I'm like, no. But I realized what the context of the song is. And I think people need to realize what the context of this song that she's doing and why it is what it is. People are trying to, I seem like the people who are mad about it are only upset because they're like, this song, we had to wait 6 years for this. First of all, it's for a movie and it's for a soundtrack. And I believe it's a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who we lost to cancer. So think of that of what the content of the song is. This is not the first single on the follow-up to Auntie. It's not. So if it was that, then I could see people being upset over the song or feeling a certain kind of way. But for the context of what this song is for, I'm here for it. I'm not that upset. And when I feel like when people see the movie, they'll probably be singing a different tune. Speaking of which, I thought Rihanna sounded pretty good vocally on the song. I know people like ballads is not her strong suit. Here's the thing, and this might be a little controversial for me to say, but I actually like when women who don't have the most spectacular voice take a crack at ballads. Like, well, look, Madonna, a lot of her strongest songs I've always felt was when she sang ballads. Live to Tell is still one of my favorite songs from Madonna. And you know, she has many ballads, but Live to Tell immediately comes to mind. That's still like one of my all-time favorite ballads from her. Crazy For You is another one. So, Take a Bow too. Even though I heard like I didn't realize that people really did not resonate with a lot of the songs she did with Baby, like when she did a song with Babyface, and a lot of the songs from that album, all the singles that was chosen for Bedtime Story. I didn't realize that people wasn't featuring those songs. I like that. That's another fun fact. That was actually the first Madonna album I bought when I was old enough to be able to use allowance money and go to the store and buy music. Bedtime Story was actually the first Madonna CD that I was able to purchase. But anyway, so overall, Riri, I'm looking forward to the new era. I don't know if we're going to get an album from her because, you know, February is right around the corner. Or is it January that she's doing the Super Bowl? I don't know when the Super Bowl is. They be moving that shit around so damn much now because, you know, what happened with the 19, you know, aka COVID. So I don't even know at this point. So when I know was a couple of months away from doing the award, you know, she's doing this halftime. I don't know if we'll be getting an album by then. I just feel like she just did the 2 songs for the soundtrack, and we may get who knows, we may get an album later on in 2023. But right now, I'm not, you know, betting that hard on this whole situation. But good luck, girl, because, you know, I'm rooting for you, even though everybody else hating on this damn song. Okay, now speaking of Madonna, so there was some she got into a little situation earlier this week when she was celebrating the 30th anniversary of her 5th album, Erotica. I realized Madonna's been celebrating a lot of milestones. There's been a lot of anniversaries on a lot of her albums that from a lot of her classic albums this this year. I can't remember all the other ones, but I do remember I was reporting a lot of albums that was celebrating having a lot of anniversaries. But with this one, her 5th album, Erotica, came out 30 years ago. Now, the album was accompanied by her book, Sex, an artistic photo book, which included many scandalous nude photos alongside Madonna's written sexual fantasies. At the time, the subject matter was considered taboo because no one had encountered a mainstream pop star expressing her sexuality in an explicit manner. And I think what had happened was Madonna was trying to be like, y'all need to give me my flowers, you know, for that. And this is what she said. Oh, so this was on Sunday, October 23rd, when when she posted this. So, you know, when she took to Instagram to reminisce about the album and book's cultural impact, the wording that she put in there rubbed somebody by the name of Cardi B the wrong way. So she said, 30 years ago, I published a book called Sex. In addition to photos of me naked, there were photos of men kissing men, women kissing women, and me kissing everyone. I also wrote about my sexual fantasies and shared my point of view about sexuality in an ironic way. I spent the next few years being interviewed by narrow-minded people who tried to shame me for empowering myself as a woman. I was called a whore, a witch, a heretic, and the devil. Damn. Now Cardi B can sing about her WAP, Kim Kardashian can grace the cover of any magazine with her naked ass, and Miley Cyrus can come in like a wrecking ball. You're welcome, bitches. And then she put a clown emoji at the end. So now Cardi was upset over what Madonna wrote. And here's what she said. She said, I literally paid this woman, I think she's spelled paid wrong, but whatever. I literally paid this woman homage so many times because I grew up listening to her. She can make her point without putting clown emojis and getting slick out the mouth, the rapper wrote alongside a 2018 Billboard article in which she praises Madonna. These icons really become disappointments once you make it in an industry. That's why I keep it to myself. Some Twitter users, of course, wrote that Cardi has difficulty comprehending simple shit. So basically saying that she paved the way for sexual songs to become mainstream and that the singer wasn't trying to insult the rapper. Saying, I know exactly what she said and I understand, but it's about the tone, calling me bitches and putting clown emojis, the fuck? Funny thing you don't realize is that how is Cardi the only one that got upset, but Miley Cyrus and Kim Kardashian didn't say anything? So, but I realized Cardi, I forgot what her damn sign is, but I heard she's extremely sensitive and she takes a lot of things to heart. And anybody says anything remotely negative, she claps back. And I've always said that has been a problem with her. Is that, Miss, where is album number 2? You spending too much time on social media worrying about what everybody's saying about you. And I like Cardi. I'm a fan of her music. I love her personality. I'm not going to get in this whole debate on that she was, these conspiracy theories that she was a plant to kind of be the the anti-Nicki Minaj, because Nicki has been a nuisance in the industry and they needed somebody to basically, get her out or whatever the case is. We're not going to get into them conspiracy theories. However, Cardi, you constantly always getting on social media and clapping back, and every time somebody says something to you, it's like you are putting too much energy. You're giving too much energy to that. Don't worry about what these people be saying. Don't let these people bait you and goat you. Now, don't get me wrong. I always say like this, and everybody has a breaking point, but I don't know what your breaking point is, because every time somebody says something and puts their name in your mouth, you up in here fighting, or you want to fight people on social media. It's been too much of it. I've been reporting too much on Cardi B getting into beefs with people on social media. But I should say, shortly after there was a happy ending, Madonna and Cardi B spoke on the phone. And of course, Lipo Lee had to go jump in the conversation and assert himself and say, oh, I'm so glad I got to be a fly on the wall and bring these women together. But he said, hold on, please hold, because I know I got it on here. He said, on the phone with Madonna and Cardi, listening to both women share their perspective on the communication going on has broadened their love for each other. Love this sign of fly on the wall. So it's like, you couldn't, see, and I think this is why people do not like Jason Lee, is because he always feels the need to assert himself as some shit to make it seem like he got some kind of celebrity clout. I saw he recently did his Hollywood Unlocked Influential Awards, whatever the hell it was, and had Will Smith slow speaking ass up there because I guess he knows he met with Floyd Mayweather, whatever, and Jason Lee will tell anybody who can listen that he know Floyd Mayweather. Y'all already know this. So, yeah, he had to assert himself, but I'm sure he probably slid himself in Madonna's DMs, was like, okay, like said to Cardi, she didn't mean anything by it. Let me just see if I can slide in Madonna's DM or whatever, and then bring you two together and have a conversation. But this whole thing where you just had to make us immediately just make sure we all knew that you had something to do with it. It was just like, oh God, here we go. But I'm glad these ladies worked it out because it wasn't that serious. But in regards to Madonna, though, I get where she was coming from. But the way she went about it, the clown emoji, I feel like she used the clown emoji in the wrong way, because I've used the clown emoji. When I'm using the clown emoji, I'm usually using it to call somebody a damn clown. It should be used to be like, oh, if you're doing like a haha, just kidding, or just I'm being funny and sarcastic. People can't read energy and intent through a text or through an Instagram post. So people tend to take things the wrong way because you don't hear a tone through an Instagram post. So I do think she overreacted. And I feel like Madonna, we know you've been such an influence. We have so many girls, Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, the list goes on. There's just so many. It's like, what is it? Britney, Gaga, Christina Aguilera, even Selena Gomez, Kylie Minogue. There's so many pop stars who have come out and said that you were the blueprint. You are like the person that even Nicki Minaj, have all looked up to Madonna in some sort of way and know that she's paved the way in a lot of things. And I do feel like Madonna, well, there was, so many others before her, the Marilyn Monroes, the Mae Wests, the Grace Jones. Madonna was the one who was able to usher a lot of what those other women were not allowed to do further into the mainstream, or use her mainstream platform to really speak on things regarding sex. Of course, when the sex book and all that other stuff came out, AIDS was high and prominent in the United States. It was the 90s. I was too young to get that book or even go to Webster Hall when she did her bedtime story, thingamajig, where she actually read a bedtime story to the audience. I remember that. And she had the little blue nightgown on. I remember the look because I think it was like you could watch it on MTV or something or another. I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is before the internet. Certain things you got to watch on TV and stuff late at night. So good on you, ladies. I'm glad that y'all managed to work everything out. Oh yeah, and so then I remember also there was because shortly after the whole Cardi B situation, there was someone who tried to discredit Madonna by posting something about, I guess, trying to insinuate Madonna was a pedophile, because there was a one of her sexual fantasies was something about sex with someone who was young if they're in the mood, and talking about that some young boy who was Puerto Rican, he was uncircumcised, he barely had pubic hair. There was a whole thing that was going on, and people was like, oh, so this is who y'all worshiping, and this y'all girl, and this other, basically trying to, and I was like, first of all, that's not what you're gonna do. It had to be some damn Gen Z or a millennial who didn't know nothing about the historical context, or was even around when the sex book came out. And Madonna said in the beginning of the book, the prologue, that the book is basically about sex. It's not about love. Sex is not love. Love is not sex. But the best of both worlds is created when they come together. You can love God. You can love the planet. You can love the human race. And you can love all things. But the best way for human beings to show love is to love one another. It's the way we spread love through the universe, one to one. Love is something we make pass it on. The book does not condone unsafe sex. These are fantasies I have dreamed up. Like most human beings, when I let my mind wander, when I let myself go, I really think of condoms. My fantasies take place in a perfect world, a place without AIDS. Unfortunately, the world is not perfect, and I know the condoms are not the only necessary but mandatory. Everything you are about to see and read is a fantasy, a dream, pretend. But if I were to make my dreams real, I would certainly use condoms. Safe sex saves lives. Pass it on. And by the way, any similarity between characters and events depicted in this book and real persons and events is not only purely coincidental, it's ridiculous. Nothing in this book is true. I made it all up. So when people want to go around and insinuate that she's out here doing nasty things to people and this and third, first of all, the book was about fantasies, and those who bought the book and knew about the book back then are aware of that. So shout out to Cardi, shout out to Madonna. I'm glad y'all worked it on out, and here's hoping that Cardi is putting the finishing touches on that goddamn long delayed sophomore album, and then Madonna, I heard, is working on an EP or something or another in that way, and still working on that damn biopic. And whatever musical collaboration they have going on in the future, I hope these ladies can get together and create some magic. So that's all. Now, moving right along to our next topic. Oh, Lord. I'm probably going to need a swig of water about this one, because we're about to talk about Kanye West, yeah. Please hold. Okay. So, with all the ignorant comments Kanye West has been making over the years regarding the Black community, and most recently the Jewish community, many people are asking what the heck took the many brands he's been collaborating with so long to finally cut ties with his ass. Now, this article comes from CNN, and shout out to them because, I had to pull a lot of stuff. I even took a list of the things I even was contemplating with production. I was like, should we kind of do like what Wendy Williams did, where Future's baby mamas and this, that, and the third? Should we do like a chart, like a billboard chart or blackboard chart of all the Kanye West, the brands that dropped him? But I got them, so we good. So according, this article, as I said before, is from CNN. So after all, well, shout out to them for the what do you call it? The inspiration. It's funny, I can't even talk today. What's going on? So Ye's behavior has been troubling for some time. He even called out Adidas directly, if y'all remember, during on Drink Champs, the podcast, in which he made anti-Semitic comments, bragging the company would never cut ties with him. The latest saga began in early October when Ye wore a shirt with the slogan "White Lives Matter," a statement that the Anti-Defamation League has linked to the Ku Klux Klan. At that time, Adidas, which first partnered with the artist in 2013 for Yeezy branded shoes and clothes, said it was reviewing the partnership. Then, during an appearance on Drink Champs on the weekend of October 16th, Ye repeated anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, among other offensive claims. He referenced Adidas directly, saying, "I can say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me." He said, "Now what? Well, bitch, they dropped your ass hotter than faster than a hot potato." But I will say this, they did take a little longer than usual to drop him. They took days. I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know why it took days, but I can understand. I feel like it has to do with, okay, once you kind of put a company in a weird position, they have to sit and probably call in a lot of people in their, different levels of their organizations and figure out, okay, so what are we going to do? How are we going to get out of this? When you have deals and contracts in place, it's like, okay, so how do we get out of this? You already know you're going to lose money from the deal because of his antics. So you got to figure out, how to kind of wiggle your way out of that. So Adidas didn't announce it was severing ties with Ye until Tuesday, October 25th. So it was October 16th when he said what he said, but they didn't drop him until it was like, almost 10 days later? And so in that statement, the company said it does not tolerate anti-Semitism or any sort of hate speech, calling Ye's recent documents unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous, as well as in violation of the company's values of diversity and inclusion, mutual respect, and fairness. Adidas wasn't the only company to take its time. Balenciaga cut ties with him last week, and while Gap and Ye parted ways in September, it didn't pull the Yeezy Gap line from shelves until this week. Foot Locker also said this week that it would remove Yeezy products, and TJ Maxx followed by saying it would no longer purchase the items for sale in stores. But you know that Adidas basically took a brunt of the brunt of this stuff because they were the first to the cutting. But what did they say? So he was dropped by Adidas. Peloton bans Kanye's music from all future classes. Kanye was booted from Skechers headquarters after showing him uninvited. And we already talked about TJ Maxx. He was dropped by CAA, and Ari Emanuel came out, and he's like one of the most powerful agents in Hollywood. I think his character was based off of. The Ari Gold character on Entourage, I believe, was based off of Ari Emanuel. He also had an upcoming documentary that was scrapped, but his previous documentary, the one that they already have, is still on Netflix. I'm not surprised Netflix didn't remove it. Did they remove anything? Dave Chappelle? Another problematic people they have on there. Music has been removed, I believe that they removed his music from streaming platforms. Now, the music thing, I don't know. I feel like that's a slippery slope. People, if y'all still want to rock and listen to his old shit, be my guest. But me personally, like I told y'all before, or I think I told y'all this before, but I've mentioned this probably so many times, I don't remember where I mentioned it at. I feel like, I have. I removed his music. I haven't had his music as a part of my library for a while. I removed it a long time. I don't remember when I removed it, but I just do not listen to Kanye. I don't support his music. I don't listen to none of it. Not even all the old music. Like, I know everybody be like, oh, he's a genius. He's this, he's that. I don't see none of where the genius is. But as far as like the music, I don't listen to it. I stopped listening to him a long time ago. What else? Oh, so then I also heard that he's being sued by his former accountant, Thomas St. John, for $4.5 million. The black, and then he claimed, I heard Goodwill dropped him today too. First of all, I didn't even know Goodwill sold Yeezy shit. But I didn't know they sold Yeezys, and I damn sure didn't know they sold his clothes. But I get it. It's Goodwill is basically it's like you go and you get a lot of dominated items. So there are a lot of people go in there and they drop off a lot of Yeezy stuff. So it wouldn't be surprised that they would have that up in there, and people are buying it because the Yeezy. They'll probably charge like $24.99 for a pair of Yeezy sneakers. And the t-shirt will probably go for like 15 or something. Like they can't charge a gob amount of money. Oh, and he also claimed that Quentin Tarantino stole Django Unchained from him, the idea, which I had to laugh at. And Quentin Tarantino did too, because I forgot what show he was on, but he talked about it. He said that that Kanye wanted to record, because I forgot what album is the Jesus Walks album song. What album is Jesus Walks? Is it Late Registration or College Dropout? One of them damn albums. Anyway, so with that, the album that the Jesus Walks song is on, he wanted to basically create a movie based around each track on the record, which I think is similar to what Beyonce did with a lot of her stuff. So he wanted to create a visual album. One of the concepts was he wanted to play a slave and this, that, and the third. And I think he was looking for different filmmakers. I see it. He wanted to get different filmmakers and stuff on to direct each video. And I believe he probably presented it to Quentin Tarantino, but Quentin's not listening to no damn Kanye West for no damn movie out there. And first of all, there's been a series of Django films from Italy that have come out. So the Django concept has been around for a long time. And we all know that Quentin Tarantino is someone who basically takes a lot of inspiration from films that have already existed and puts his own spin on it. Like when you look at, with Sergio Leone films, he incorporated that when he does like his Westerns. When he did Kill Bill, a lot of the inspiration came from like the Shaw Brothers and so many other inspirations. So Quentin Tarantino has always been that kind of director. I'm not going to say like, oh, he got an idea from Kanye and stole it. So, if you want to read the full article, because it's a lot based on where they break down the last straw and everything was, well, I'll let you guys know that one. So what finally woke these companies up was an image that went viral. Remember when they showed the photo from the Los Angeles freeway overpass where a small group of demonstrators with their arms raised with the Nazi salute and all that other stuff, and all of that? That's what pissed people off. I thought it was when he went on Drink Champs and said what he said, which in my opinion, I felt like that Nori is a Virgo like me. I have to read you. First of all, if you got someone like a Kanye coming in your house, you don't let that man dictate and control the narrative. You don't let them come on and disrespect your show. If you're going to come on, I'm sorry, but this is my show, my brand, and you coming on and saying all kinds of crazy stuff, that is going to not only affect him, but it could affect you. And if a show like Drink Champs is something that is an independent project that is owned and created by Nori and the people that are part of that show, if them people come in and sue y'all for millions upon millions of dollars, they could just take your show away from you. Like, there has to be a responsibility that we as commentators and bloggers have to take on in regards of reporting or allowing artists of any kind to come on our platforms and to say the things that they say. So Nori should have been the one there to control the narrative. If he wants to get up and walk out because you won't let him say all the foolishness that he wants to say, then bye. There's a door. Don't let it hit you with a good Lord unsplit you, but you're not going to come on here and disrespect my shit. Not after I built this. If you want to just go out and destroy your legacy and what you built and lose billions, $2 billion as you said that you lost in a day, you go ahead and do that. But you're not going to come over here and disrespect my show. And I also don't understand the people who blindly support Kanye on everything he says, regardless. These people that are so deep in the sunken place with him. Because I can't tell you the many times when the last segment I did on him, how so many, and I've said this before, how there was more black people that were pissed off at me coming down on Kanye for the foolishness that he's saying, being ignorant, than being like, there's something wrong here. And there's another thing. To answer the question on why is the black community more upset that Kanye is being, coming down upon by the Jewish community over the anti-Semitic comments, and not on him saying slavery was a choice, why lives matter, all that stuff. The George Floyd lie that he told, saying he had Fenty in his system, and not the Rihanna stuff, the other Fenty. Because, and this may be painful for y'all and hard for y'all to hear, but when you say anything about any other minority group, the Jewish community, who have been through some stuff similar to us with the slavery, they have the Holocaust. They have that history. I heard when you go to Auschwitz, like that, I've heard so many stories when you go out there to that, and it's like you visit, what happened there, the overall pain and the suffering that those people endured. And then we have the thing about slavery and what our Black ancestors endured. We should be sympathetic and empathetic instead of fighting amongst each other. So he's saying all this divisive crap, which is why I don't understand. I feel like it's misplaced anger. So he did, I believe he said in the Drink Champs thing about, I think he was envious over the fact that all these other minority groups come together, but when it comes to Black people, it's just like there's no, cohesiveness there. And you playing a part of it. Especially Alana yourself with Kundis, Owens, that fool, and all these other people, and talking about you want to name, and then the T came out earlier this week, he want to name one of his albums Hitler. But the record industry advised him against it. So they're saying that he's always had this fascination with Nazism and all this other mess. I know there's people that collect Nazi memorabilia. But I don't understand what your obsession with. First of all, you're not even someone who's in a position to colonize anybody. Like, you're a Black man in America. How are you able to, you think because you were a former billionaire and you lost all that at a drop of a hat, that makes you like you can control people? Oh, then I've been hearing another thing about the whole Donda school, that it was closing, then they reopened, they're back with a vengeance. Like, this is some 90s action movie. Like, I'm watching Die Hard with a vengeance. We're coming back. Bigger and stronger than ever. And then I heard earlier today, they're talking about that the teachers are quitting and kids are trying to find new schools to go to, and the place is losing money and this and that. So I don't know what to believe anymore. But I feel like, first of all, y'all should be looking at the Donda Academy before it got to this point. We was talking about that before. How you got your kids going to a school that ain't even accredited? And what they learn at parkour? Didn't parkour go out like 20 years ago? We got to find out who's funding all of this, stuff with him. But and especially when he getting these grants from the school. Why is nobody looking into that? But to get to the point and to wrap this up, the reason why the Jewish community and all these other communities, because look, the Jewish community, when you say something anti-Semitic, they all band together, is because they come together collectively. The LGBTQ community. When you say something about the LGBTQ community, you see what happened to the baby and so many others. You say something about the LGBTQ community, they get your ass too. Excuse me. They get you too. You end up losing money and deals and this, that, and the other. Because a lot of these people that run these corporations could be LGBTQ, could be Jewish, Black people. The minute somebody says something about the Black community, y'all got 1,001 goddamn excuses. Oh, but I like this. Oh, but I go to Sunday service and listen to the most hot-ass Negro spirituals. Don't even get me started on that video that I saw. Shout out to Van Lathan, that he posted, where you saw people, especially that other sunken place comedian, Chris Rock. Don't even get me started about her. That coon. Another one. Out there calling him all kinds of a genius and this, that, and the third. You see all of the celebrities out there rubbing elbows and partying with him out in Wyoming when he released that album. I don't know which one. They all terrible to my opinion. I don't care about no damn Donda. She probably rolling over in her grave with all this bullshit with him. I'm talking about the album. I'm not talking about the mother. And then the Jesus albums, and when he went gospel and all that other foolishness. To me, it just gives scam with him. So what happens now? With all this going on with him, like what's the end game? Like, is he done for good? Because I feel like there's no coming back from this. I don't see Kanye coming back from these shenanigans and all of what he's been wrapped up in and what this whole situation. I don't see the industry. I mean, I'll be shocked if the industry's like, you know what, we still want to. Oh, it died down. He didn't. Everybody done forgot. We'll bring him back. If that happens, it's just like I can't look at y'all. Y'all just be. That would just be a mess to me. Like, I don't understand like how businesses would still want to work with someone who basically wants to put harm on you. So until the Black community can learn to come together as a collective and stop making excuses for someone because they like their music or they like their fashions or they want, I always feel like it's a class thing. To say you got a pair of Yeezys, to say you have this, to say you have that, it gives you what, in my opinion, what I guess you all feel some kind of social status. That's the only thing I could think of. Because why else would you continue to support a bigot? And a lot of the behavior that comes from a lot of these Kanye cultists, to me, is no different than these Trump supporters. A lot of it is very similar in a lot of the way y'all come across in the excuses, the behavior. It's very by the book. I've seen this already happen with, the thing now. I don't know if we'll get Kanye fans acting like them damn insurrectionists. I don't think it'll get that far. But for the most part, when I see all the excuses people make on social media, like I even saw one girl talk about try to equate it with some other thing with Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, why are y'all bringing her twerk? Like, what? It just sounded dumb. So I didn't even dignify that with a response. But then someone was like, oh, y'all mad at Kanye for doing this. But then y'all not going in on Nick Cannon over a segment, because I saw this video went viral on social media earlier this week, of it was Wildin' Out. And it was a white girl that jumped in and said because it was first of all, it was two Black guys going at it. The other guy, when he was trying to do his clapback, was not funny at all. So the white girl was, oh, I got one, jumped in, made a joke, said your life don't, was a joyful, your life don't matter. I don't remember the context of the joke. I just remember hearing that part. So they were trying to say, oh, well, she said his life don't matter. I'm about to start calling you motherfuckers Stretch Armstrong, because y'all be reaching just to have some kind of a point. It's not the same thing. Just because some white girl comes in is making a joke, and the context of it is, we're snapping on each other. That's what the whole point of Wildin' Out is y'all coming in within reason, because she ain't called him the N-word, but she basically made a joke. It was funny. And now y'all want to equate, oh, well, she said your life don't matter. Why y'all not going to cancel her? It's not the same thing. She didn't say that she wanted to do DEFCON 3 on a specific group. She didn't come in and start saying like these disparaging things. So let's not try to reach for shit just because you want to have justification for what someone said that was freaking not only incorrect, but ignorant. So we'll see how long this lasts. He's been just, a lot of people, he's been losing a lot of support. A lot of people, a lot of celebrities have been really quiet about it. But I do want to give a shout out to people like Funkmaster Flex and people like Ebro, who have been going and letting have, and even Joe Budden. The few commentators that I've seen on social media, even the other commentators that are like doing what I do outside of the big celebrity names who know Kanye, who have been willing to speak up and speak out about this, because it has to be spoken about. And I hope this makes for a good debate. So I definitely, I definitely want to hear what you guys think about this topic. And because this is really biting him in the behind, and we'll see like what happens with him and how this will further affect his career. But another thing I've been thinking about too, I really feel bad for the kids. Like, how are they dealing with this? And I know like Kim recently spoke out against anti-Semitism and this, that, the third. And I did report that I'm wondering if it had to do with Boy George, the 80s singer, who spoke out against Kim, saying like, you need to speak up. Like, Miley was good. Like, when you gonna say something? it would have been nice if she, I'm glad she spoke out against, the anti-Semitism. I was, what, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they've been real quiet too. What's going on? I know she's still working on them, the videos and stuff, like reshooting a lot of the video for the Renaissance. That's why a lot of people like Beyonce, every time she posts a picture, the beehive be up in the thing like, okay, so what's going on? Where's the video? Speaking of which, there's a video, there's an article that I have on my website about Beyonce, where they said that the Grammys reportedly debated whether her Renaissance album should compete in the dance categories. I feel like I'm going to save that around the time once the Grammy nominations and stuff comes out. Or maybe I'll do it next week, because that's definitely a topic we need to talk about. Because the fact of the matter that they are debating whether or not if her album is is dance enough, when quiet as it's kept, black queer people invented house music. So I don't understand like why it's not computing. But me personally, so I can finish this story. It would have been nice if Kim would have came out and said something when he said slavery was a choice, white lives matter, all that stuff. It'd have been nice if she would have said that, especially when 4 of your kids is half black. Like, you got biracial children. So you would think, I'm not saying because, there'd be some people out here in these streets that have to overcompensate for their biracialness or, being in a relationship with someone of a different race. So they do have that, but you have to find that balance. So I feel like she should have said something, especially when she's been accused many a times of stealing from black people and black culture, black fashion designers, black makeup artists, the works. And has even spray tanned herself to look black. So, she didn't stand up the couch like Dorit did at the reunion. I know y'all seen them pictures. Her damn tans, from the back of her legs got all over the seat. But anyway, so yeah, it would have been nice if Kim would have came out and said something in regards of the black community, especially like I said, because she has 4 half black kids. But something better than that. But I guess it's because she, the Jewish community, she had to say something because I'm sure they do a lot of business, especially being in LA with a lot of Jewish people. So I can see why she said what she said. Okay, there's way too many logos on the screen. Anyway, so let's move on because I feel like I was on that one. But the Kanye one, that was definitely something that had to be broken down. It was a lot. But yeah, if you ever read the rest of the article where they break down like how they came up with the this decision and the proper channels they had to go through in order to finally be like cut ties, and then all the other brands that followed shortly after, because you always gotta have that sacrificial lamb. Everybody's got to be a bros before you, as in bros is the big breakout thing that they had to take the risk. And then you see if you get rewarded or not. That's why I use the bros reference. But everybody, so they did that, and then it is what it is. So definitely go to the website and read the rest of that article. So let's get into this tea, because we have Ryan Murphy speaking out finally about the criticism over his controversial Netflix limited series. Now, I'm going to have to tell y'all, I still did not finish the Jeffrey Dahmer show. I still didn't finish it. I was supposed to. Never got around to it. I don't know. It's just like there was other things that was popping up. I feel like I got the gist of it. Maybe one of these days I will get around to it, but I still have not finished the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. I'm still up to episode 8, but I'm going to get around to one of these days. But anyway, so Murphy says that he, there was criticism going against him about whether or not, a lot of the families were complaining that, oh, well, they're making all this money from us. We didn't hear anything from anybody that worked on the series. But Ryan Murphy recently spoke out and said that he did reach out to the 20 victims' families and friends during the 3 years it took for him to research and embellish, in my opinion, on some of the events about the notorious serial killer. Now, shout out to Variety. And I pulled from a bunch of other places too to get more information. Now, Murphy did allude to the controversy that was surrounding his hit Netflix show at an event at Los Angeles' DGA Theater on Thursday, saying the subject matter is something that we researched for a very long time, saying over the course of the three and a half years when we were really writing it, working on it, we reached out to around 20 of the victims' families and friends, trying to get input, trying to talk to people, and not a single person responded to us in that process, Murphy said. So we relied very, very heavily on our incredible group of researchers who I don't even know how they found a lot of this stuff, but it was just like a night and day effort trying to uncover the truth of these people. Now, between 1978 and 1991, Dahmer gruesomely murdered 17 men. According to the show's description, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, is a series that exposes these unconscionable crimes centered around the underserved victims and their communities impacted by the systemic racism and institutional failures of the police that allowed one of America's most notorious serial killers to continue his murderous spree in plain sight for over a decade. Despite the stated goal, the show has been criticized for the heavy focus on Dahmer's horrifying behavior and framing of the victims' stories. Something that we talked a lot about in the making of it is we weren't so much interested in Jeffrey Dahmer, the person, but what made him the monster that he became, Murphy explained. We talked a lot about that, and we talked about it all the time. It's really about white privilege. It's about systemic racism. It's about homophobia. Now, Paris Barclay, who directed episodes 6 and 10, added, we really wanted it to be about celebrating these victims. He says, when Tony writes, I won't disappear on that last card, that's what this show is about. It's about making sure these people are not erased by history and that they have a place and that they're recognized and that they are important and that they lived full lives and they came from all sorts of different places, but they were real people. He continued, they weren't just numbers. They weren't just pictures on billboards and telephone poles. They were real people with loving families, breathing, living, hoping. That's what we wanted it to be about. Now, I should point out that, like I stated before, several of the family of Dahmer's victims have spoken out against the Netflix series for recreating their real-life drama. Now, Rita Isbell, whose brother Errol Lindsay was murdered by Dahmer in 1991, wrote in an essay for Insider revealing that the show bothered her writing. It's sad that they're just making money off of this tragedy. Isabel wrote, I was never contacted about the show. I feel like Netflix should have asked if we minded or how we felt about making it. They didn't ask me anything. They just did it. And I'm not money hungry. And that's what this show is about. Netflix trying to get paid. Shirley Hughes, whose son Tony Hughes was also killed by Dahmer in 1991, told The Guardian, I don't see how they can do that. I don't see how they can use our names and put stuff out like that out there. Ryan Murphy even offered to fund a memorial for the victims, but Thomas M. Jacobson, the former Milwaukee attorney who represented 8 of the victims' families and fought to prevent the serial killer from profiting from his murders, feels Murphy's statements regarding funding a memorial is too little too late. Here's what he said. He said a memorial contribution for the Dahmer victims for Ryan Murphy seems like an afterthought. This is what he told The Wrap. Milwaukee wanted Dahmer's memory to disappear, so not wanting any remembrance of his mayhem in the community is a given. He offered the following alternative, saying the only meaningful Dahmer victim family action on Murphy's part will be a monetary consideration from the Netflix profits for their exploitation and continuing trauma. Now, what I don't understand is why does he want to do like some memorial fund? Like, what the hell is that going to do? You're going to build a statue of all the victims? Or like some big plaque with their name on it? Like, what is that? Like, to me, I do feel like there should have been like whatever proceeds that Netflix makes, that a portion of it goes into a fund that the families that you could split with the families of the victims. And I know it's a lot because it was like, what, 17, 18 victims that we know of, so it should go to the immediate family member. So, on one hand, I do get it. It was like, why do we have to continuously re-traumatize a lot of these families by continuing to make so many different films, documentaries, TV shows about Jeffrey Dahmer? There's so many out there already. But I feel like this one's resonating now because I feel like we're in a time of social media where things are trending and this, that, and the third. People are going to watch the old things about him. And I do feel like, even though a lot of people feel it's controversial, I do feel like this documentary, this series is necessary because, like I stated the last time when I talked about the whole Dahmer situation, there's a lot of people who had no idea about this story. I knew about it because I was a kid when this happened. I was a little kid when it happened. I remember in school, it was like, we used to, like I said before, we used to make jokes about getting, oh, he's going to eat you and this, that, and the other, because we heard about the cannibalism. We were all like, cannibalism is funny, and we don't know nothing about what cannibalism really is. People eating you and shit. Like, nobody's taking that seriously. Well, I wasn't at that age. But of course, if you're older, you're like, once you understand what cannibalism is, then it's like, oh, it's not so funny. So when you know better, you do better. But for the most part, it's just like, this is no, it's no laughing matter, but at the same time, it's also, I felt like this show was necessary because, like, even recently, there's been so many stories coming out that I've been hearing about men meeting other men on dating or sex apps, like Grindr and those sort of things, and they, are either murdering people, eating people, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I've been hearing so many stories regarding to that. So this stuff is still going on. And so I feel like the Dahmer series, for that moment, because people only get caught up in a moment, it's a good PSA to like what not to do in those situations. Like, you really have to be careful when you meet people. But they buying you drinks, how they do stick drugs and stuff in your drinks and this, that, and the third. So you just got to be mindful of what's going on in regards of when you meet people out in public and the many lengths they will do to harm you. So for what I saw, it made me uneasy. I was uncomfortable watching Dahmer. I'm gonna get around to it eventually. I'm gonna finish it. But yeah, so I don't know how truthful it is. So in a way, it kind of felt like Ryan Murphy was calling the family as a liar. So no, we contacted them. Maybe the families were just like, oh God, this is probably just some more people trying to get in contact with us. And if we ignore it, if we don't answer the phone or we don't deal with these people, then maybe they'll go away and they won't make it. It's not how Hollywood works. It's whether or not you give them the go ahead or the permission. It wasn't like they were asking any permission. They just want to hit you up and find out research. And whether or not you were going to participate, they were still going to go forward and make this project. My problem with Ryan Murphy is that he has a tendency of taking real life stuff and embellishing it. Like there was a season where he had of American Horror Story. He put Richard Ramirez in it. I'm like, how is Richard Ramirez, a known notorious serial killer, in American Horror Story? And like when y'all were trying to do the whole slasher movie concept, like y'all were doing a whole ripple of Friday 13, kind of like this new season American Horror Story, was like doing like a Panera Bread version of Cruising. It's not working for me, but I'm gonna stick it out a little longer. Anyway, so good luck to y'all. I don't know what's gonna happen, if the family is gonna be like I don't know if they can even file a lawsuit, but we'll see. Because I'm sure this whole situation is not gonna go anywhere anytime soon unless people move on from it. Because it is one of the, I believe that this is the second most watched Netflix show ever, if I'm not mistaken. See, let's move on. And get into a lot of this Housewives tea. There's a lot of Real Housewives stuff. So let's get into that now because we're already an hour into the show. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on a lot of these topics, but we're going to get into it. So let's talk about Miss Kim Zolciak, because Miss Mama's look like she about to be in the po house. She about to be homeless. So the former Real Housewives of Atlanta and Don't Be Tardy star, Kim Zolciak Biermann, and her retired NFL husband, Kroy Biermann, are set to lose their $2.6 million Georgia mansion to foreclosure after being tardy on a $300,000 loan. Now, a notice of sale under power confirmed that Kim, who's 44, And Croy, who's 37, had their 5-bedroom, 6.5 bathroom home. Why do y'all need so many damn bathrooms? But whatever. 6.5 pause. Or sidebar. Remember that? She does have a lot of kids. She got like 6 children. So I could see why she got all them damn bathrooms and all them bedrooms. But it said the 6.5 bathroom home foreclosed on is being put up for sale. Now, according to the document, the sprawling 6,907 square foot home will be sold at public outcry to the highest bidder for cash before the courthouse door of Fulton County, Georgia. Now, Kim and Croy's home was foreclosed upon because of, among other possible events of default, failure to pay the indebtedness. And we got, and this, if you go on the my website, you definitely see a lot of the house and the set and the third. So, the couple took out a $300K loan against the home, and according to the documents, failed to pay it back. Per legal documents, Kim and Croy purchased the home in December 2013. Now, the initial notice of sale under power was published on October 6th. Kim and Croy's family home will go on sale on the first Tuesday in November 2022, which is next week. Or is it the following week? Because I know November 1st isn't it Tuesday? Because Halloween is on Monday, according to the legal docs. Now, this isn't the first time Kim Zolciak Biermann's mansion in Alpharetta, Georgia has faced foreclosure, but the debt was eventually settled according to records exclusively obtained by Page Six. Now, in 2014, Zolciak Biermann was sent a Fieri Frasius letter, I think that's how you say it, which threatens that a state officer, usually a sheriff, may take control of a piece of property and sell it in order to satisfy the owner's debt for tax obligations. The lien owed at the time was $10,567.67. Zolciak Biermann and her husband Croy Biermann have been living in their lavish home for just 2 years at the time. Real estate records also show that more than 6,000 square foot property, which boasts 6 bedrooms and 9 bathrooms, was purchased in 2012 for $880,000. Wait a minute. So now it's 6 bedrooms and 9. Okay, y'all, how many bedrooms and bathrooms in this house? Because I could have sworn I just said a different damn number. It said 6.5 bathrooms and 5 bedrooms. And now, according to the post, it got more bathrooms than bedrooms. Okay. Let's just say it got a lot of goddamn bedrooms and bathrooms because y'all keep changing the damn number. So it says, a year prior to buying the house, Kim and Croy tied the knot in a glamorous wedding that was filmed by Bravo. Now, since then, the pair have 4 children together. Croy Jacker, who's 11, Cash 10, and 8-year-old twins Kane and Kaya. Kim also has 2 daughters, Brielle Biermann and Ariana Biermann, from previous relationships. And I should point out that Croy did adopt her 2 oldest daughters before they got together. Now, the large family in their home was also featured on their Bravo reality show, Don't Be Tardy, which was canceled after 8 seasons in May of 2021. Now, I should also point out that many of this is saying that they've been having money problems for quite some time. But then, I should point out that the first debt that they had was paid in full. So that's why the Fieri Fracas was canceled. Now, I should point out that in October 2020, Croy was accused of owing his former NFL agent $22,000 in unpaid fees, and Kim was admitted to losing $250,000 while gambling in the Bahamas. Now, according to CelebrityNetwork.com, the former Real Housewives of Atlanta star has a net worth of $3 million, and her husband has an estimated $5.5 million net worth on his own. So if he's got $5.5 million, she got $3 billion. They can't settle this debt. Y'all taking out liens and loans, and y'all taking out loans and all this other stuff, but y'all worth this kind of money. And to me, it's just like, oh, and I also heard that she was spending. She was spending thousands of dollars on lottery scratch tickets. So Kim and Croy, to me, it just seems like they have a serious problem with money. And I think it all boils down to this idea of the people in the entertainment industry, these reality stars who get so caught up in the lights and the cameras and the fabulosity that they spend money, unnecessarily amounts of money. Like Kim spent a lot of money on them wigs, getting them wigs styled up when girl just pop the damn thing on your head. You don't need to be doing these little fancy styles with wigs and stuff. Like you need a wigologist or somebody, a person who, with the wig, and then they styling the wig for you, and that's money. Then you get all this plastic surgery, to keep your husband happy because he's younger. He's in his 30s. She's like in her mid 40s. And then on top of that, it's like you doing the reality show. Y'all trying to live beyond y'all means. We've seen it happen time and time again. Most recently with Froderick Hall out here pretending he bought $1 million mansion and he's renting and can't even pay the bill. And 9 times out of 10, we always hear like rich people don't like spending their own money. They always get free shit. But apparently when you're a reality star, a lot of times, especially what I've heard on Bravo, you have to pay for your own stuff. They're paying for their glam squad. They're paying to wear a lot of those clothes. I mean, quiet as it's kept, Lisa Rinna, word on the street is she's been renting her clothes because she's not as rich as the other girls. But a lot of the girls going out, they have to pay for their own wardrobe, their own hair and makeup. They do get a check with Bravo, but a lot of that stuff is like they're having to pay for that. When they do those lavish parties, they're paying for that. Bravo's not paying for that. Bravo's making millions of dollars off these women, but it seemed like these women have to come out of pocket to pay for a lot of this stuff so they can keep up with the Joneses. And to me, that's what I think we were getting from Kim and so many others. We've seen this happen time and time again with these Bravo people. And I feel like what y'all need to be out here doing is investing your money. Y'all should be investing into a business or something or another instead of trying to be like, oh, I'm just going to spend money on stuff, or I have to come out with a new wig line. I got to come out with a makeup line that nobody's buying. Lisa Rinna. And then charge people a whole shit ton of money on something people are not paying for. So it's like, y'all trying to keep up with the Jones, and not only that, but you're doing so much trying to keep the fans believing that you're living this lifestyle that's all fake. It's all fake. Like I mentioned the last time when we talked about Froderick Hall and that shenanigans he was trying to pull, like he was worth more than what he is. You would not believe how many people out here renting them houses. Y'all thinking they out here owners? No, not a lot of celebrities are renting, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with renting your house. Because like I said before, if I want to get up and go, I'm going. And I feel like they should have sold that house and downgraded a long time ago. First of all, Brielle and Ariana, they shouldn't even be living with you. They old enough to be on their own. You should be worrying about raising them twins and them other kids. Them 4 kids you have with Croy. They're not old enough to take it themselves. But the older daughters, they're old enough to get up out your house and do something. And then they were asking, like, what does Croy do? Because he ain't doing nothing outside the NFL. Like, he should have been a Michael Strahan or something. He should have been corresponding or hosting a show or something. But you thought you had it made. And you know what? In a way, I don't really feel bad for Kim, because Kim was out here throwing her nose up like she was better than everybody on them shows. Anyway, especially on Bravo. I don't even know how Don't Be Tardy lasted as long as it did. 8 damn seasons. Who was watching? I remember there would be times I would see commercials of the show on Bravo, and I was like, this shit's still on? But I get it. Andy goes hard for certain people that he likes and gives opportunity to certain people he likes, and will keep a show on longer than it needs to be for certain people he likes. I remember Nene said that, when she did her recent interview, well, I guess we can go into that now. Good luck, Kim. Hopefully you work everything out with everything that's going on with you, because it's got to be embarrassing when all your business is out in the street where you and figure out how to make manage your money better. And a lot of y'all, stop trying to live beyond y'all means. And stop worrying about what these fans think. Oh, they want to clown you because of the size of your house. At least you got a house. At least you got somewhere to live. Who cares what these fake ass fans who still living at home in their mama basement think? They gonna pay your bills? No. So let them say what the fuck they want to say. The main focus should be like you focusing on yourself and getting yourself together and taking care of them kids. I mean, your husband technically should be helping taking care of you too. But we'll see. But I don't know. I can't see her coming back. I mean, I don't know what she's gonna do at this point. You should have been parlaying your whole, while you were on Don't Be Tardy into other things. Did she ever do Dancing with the Stars? From the Housewives have done Dancing with the Stars. But so Nene Leakes stopped by and did an exclusive interview this week with Larry Reid live, and the reality star touched on a plethora of topics, including the status of her relationship with past cast members such as Kandi Burruss and Cynthia Bailey. Now, even though we have seen Nene time and time again throw shade at Kandi's direction, from whining about her multiple spinoffs to mocking the low ratings for the Old Lady Gang, which was picked up for a second season, I should add, she says that she has no issues with the former escaped singer. She says she basically claimed Kandi got a problem with her, saying, honestly, I don't have an issue with Kandi. This is the God honest truth. I really feel she has an issue with me. I'm an original housewife. I feel like that was an issue. I feel like I was noticed a lot. I don't say this. People say when they think of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, they think of Nene. If I saw her, I would speak to her. I just don't think she likes my presence. No, I think what it is that Kandi don't like your attitude. There's a difference. I don't think Kandi genuinely has a problem with Nene. I think Nene was probably intimidated because, okay, she became the breakout star in season 1. We all remember, like, I probably even told you guys this before, that I was not really a big Real Housewives watcher when the show first came out, any of the franchises. It wasn't until I remember hearing in an interview, Anderson Cooper was praising this woman, Nene Leakes, about, all her little catchphrases that she had and she was doing on the show. And I was like, okay, because I was in a whole Anderson Cooper obsession situation around that time with CNN. I think he had a talk show at the time. And it was just like, who is this Silver Fox? So, when he said all of that, I was like, let me just go and watch this show. And then when I seen when she was on Watch What Happens Live, talking about close your legs, the Merry Man trash box, and all them lines that she was going after with the legendary, them legendary lines she threw at Kim Zolciak, I was in. And ever since then, I've been watching the show. So, and then that first season reunion, bitch, that was giving me my whole life. So yes, I have stuck it out. And yes, Nene has paved the way and is really has solidified the Real Housewives and that whole brand. Back then, she was. Everybody talking about Vicky Gummelston. Ain't nobody checking for that old lady. Ain't nobody checking for no damn Vicky Gummelston, who's trying to beg to come back to TV. And I'm hearing rumblers that she might be coming back to OC. But ain't nobody checking for OC like that. It was always about Atlanta back then, for me. And then I checked out the other shows. Like I watched New York and New Jersey and Beverly Hills, which we're going to get into in a moment. But I liked Atlanta and what she brought. I feel like she kind of felt some kind of way in season 2 because Kandi basically already had a name for herself. A lot of the women that were on the Real Housewives, we didn't know who they were. We didn't know who Kim and Sheree and Nene and Deshawn Snow and Lisa Wu. We didn't know any of those women. I mean, I didn't. These are women who were made stars because, of their presence and what they brought. Most of them, because a lot of them ain't come back after that season. But then when they brought Kandi on, it was like Kandi already was a household name. She came from, she had Escape under her belt. We knew her from the R&B music. We knew her from the music community. So when I especially heard Kandi was coming on the show, that's definitely made me, lock me in. Now, yeah, I like Nene, and yes, Nene is the one who we all think of. Like everybody thinks of when you think of certain housewives. When you look at okay, we'll say this. When you think of OC, you think of Tamra and Vicky. Yes, you think of them. When you think of New York, even though they've changed the shows a lot, and I know they're going through their revamps, Bethany was the big breakout star, even though she basically built herself up by the bootstraps. But Bethany was a breakout star of New York. Beverly Hills was Lisa Vanderpump. Now Kyle's trying to be that girl, but nobody likes her at this point. And a lot of the girls on the show are problematic. But New Jersey, Teresa Giudice. That's who we automatically think of. Everybody has their queen bee. And yes, Nene was that, but I felt like Nene was probably threatened by Kandi. Because Kandi got something that Nene has, and she came with already credibility. And I think she's probably envious of Kandi because Kandi's a hustler. Kandi took a moment of using the Real Housewives franchise and use it as a springboard to create other things. She's a businesswoman. Nene wasn't doing that. At one point, yeah, she was doing Glee and she was doing, all these other programs, The New Normal that lasted one season. And then she was having all these other opportunities, but she didn't really like spin them off into anything. She didn't create opportunities like Kandi did. So I feel like there's a bit of jealousy and envy there. So while Nene is the Housewives of Atlanta, and I do miss her and I want her to come back, I don't think she is, because we're about to get into this tea where the legal situation with her and Bravo is far from over. She said they still have some legal things to work out, and she said part of it was dropped because of it was for a purpose, for us to go into a mediation. She also said she has tried to reach out to Bravo despite her lawsuit, but has heard nothing but crickets. She also revealed that she wasn't invited to BravoCon. She says, it's almost like a child being abused, and I'm over here asking for help over and over, and nobody hears me. I'm asking and asking for help, and nobody hears me. I feel like my hands were tied. I asked so many times for help. There were so many times I asked for help, but I just couldn't get it. Fans have had mixed responses about Nene's statements. Here's what they said. One person wrote, I mean, at this point, Kandi is an OG also, so I highly doubt that's the reason. Doesn't matter if you've been on a show for the first episode. Kandi is the longest running cast member on the show. So how about Nene worry about trying to get back on the show, because a lot of people miss her. Defending Kandi, another user said, Kandi came in thinking she and Nene would be friends. Nene always looked down on Kandi, calling her hood and talking crazy to her. I love them both, but Nene always remembers people's reactions to her, but not what she does to cause the reaction. That part. Nene also low-key hated the fact that Kandi never bowed down to her like everybody else. Kandi stood up to her and didn't back down. That's what that was. And when does Kandi speak on her these days? Someone else opined. Echoing the sentiment, another person added, Nene always talking about Kandi jealous or Kandi has an issue with Nene, but when has Kandi ever started with Nene? Well, she said, back in June, Kandi addressed her feud with Nene in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, saying, we don't talk. We don't have a good relationship in that sense. I don't know what the future will hold, but as of now, we don't have a good relationship, so we don't communicate. You can never say never. I would suppose, but as of now, we just aren't on the same page. Well, if you want to see the full Larry Reid interview, you can definitely go over to my website, to the Nene article, and the whole interview was there in full. It's a really good interview, so definitely check it out. She talks about her son Brent and everything, his condition, and all the people who text her and let her know how they felt. Also, she spoke out about who she would like to see as a part of the Real Housewives cast, like the ensemble cast, like who she would, like to see as a part of it. Of course, she's a part of it. But like I said, at this point, the way she spoke on the racial discrimination, the racial bias, Andy Cohen, all that stuff, Andy is not trying to have her come back. Andy is someone who likes his little favorites, who likes to pick and choose certain things. We're going to get into him in a minute. So I don't see her coming back. And to me, it's like, if you've been fired from a show, from a network, even to a point where, the story that I spoke about a couple of weeks ago, that that there were people who were advised on Watch What Happens Live to not mention Nene's name. So when you're at that point, I think you have to take into consideration that, Nene, I don't think is going to be invited to come back to work at Bravo. And in my opinion, why would you? Like, I would really be drawing blood from the biting of the tongue I would have to do if I had to sit in a room with them people at Bravo and Andy Cohen begging for my job back because I can't thrive nowhere else. Like, I feel like, go to other networks. I don't think you're fully blackballed for the industry. You're probably blocked from doing anything with Universal, NBC Universal, that whole umbrella. But you can go to Warner Brothers, you can go to Sony, you can go to other places, you can go to Disney. Well, Disney is part of oh no, it's not part of Sony. Sony is done with business with Disney because Spider-Man. But you could go to I don't know what networks on something, Viacom. You can go deal with them. Do you do College Hill? Look, try to get on the next season of oh my God, what's that show? Surreal Life. That's back. Tamar Braxton's on that one. Did that show start yet? I haven't watched it. I don't really watch cable like that. I usually wait till they come on the streaming service. I also heard Love and Hip Hop is still doing well after all these years. I'm like, damn, people still watch that show? I stopped watching Love and Hip Hop like 4 years ago. But shout out to y'all. I'm glad y'all still doing y'all thing over there. And good luck to you, Nene Leakes. Because, I like you. I'm a fan. We can't deny the impact that she has had for Bravo and reality TV. But she needs, at this point, to move on. And you know what? My petty ass, I would have showed up at BravoCon. Because I remember, Carmen Carrera talked OD shit about RuPaul and still went to Comic-Con. Went to DragCon. I remember when I was there as media, I saw her. So she was there, Gia Gunn, with her being her messy self. She was there too. There was a lot of girls who have come out and said some shit about RuPaul that was there at DragCon. So I don't know why that had to stop you. I would have still booked a flight and went to New York and walked up in there, pumped my way through BravoCon, taking up all the attention. I wouldn't have. Hey Kano, how you doing? I would have pumped my way all through BravoCon and showed out. She would have gotten attention, took a lot of pictures, that sort of thing. I would have did that. But anyway, good luck to you, Miss Lanethia Monique Leakes. Okay, so we were talking about Andy Cohen before. Let's get into it because, before we get into the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap, and I'm just going to talk about the meat and potatoes, and that's the whole Kathy Hilton thing and my thoughts on that. But Andy Cohen has finally issued an apology to Beverly Hills star Garcelle Beauvais after viewers dragged him on social media over his passive behavior towards certain cast members during the reunion. Now, shout out to Variety for where I got this story from, that I'm referencing. Now, during the second part of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, Lisa Rinna admitted that she was the one that threw Beauvais' autobiographical book in the trash and not Erika Jayne, who had shared the moment on Instagram. While talking about the situation at the reunion, Cohen sidestepped Beauvais' feelings about her memoir in the trash and instead made light of it by asking Rinna about her recycling habits. Fans of the reality series took to social media to call out Cohen and is now acknowledging his error, saying, "Everybody's been talking about the Beverly Hills reunion." This is what he said on the October 24th episode of his Sirius XM show, Andy Cohen Live. "And I just want to say, I've been listening to everyone's feedback about the reunion, and I really need to sincerely apologize, not only for diverting the topic, but for not returning to the serious conversations that was at hand." Andy Cohen also said that he had deep admiration for Garcelle and that they both had a really good, productive conversation after the episode aired last week, saying, "I should have been more in tune with her feelings. I just wanted to say that because I've been logging into social media and I get it." At the Beverly Hills reunion, Rinna said she was the one who had threw the book in the trash because the advanced copy had a moment where Beauvais mentions her daughter Amelia Hamlin's eating disorder, which, by the way, Lisa has brought up numerous times on the show as a storyline plot point, and it was something that she was talking about on the show. So I really don't understand why all of a sudden this is off limits, but I forgot Lisa needs a moment, which she was trying to have plenty of those at the reunion. So Rinna took a pic of the book in the trash and shared it in a group chat with some of her Real Housewives of Beverly Hills co-stars. When Jane got upset at Beauvais for promoting her book using a line from the season 3 trailer, which was the line, "I don't have to make you look, crazy. You could do that on your own," which basically got a roar of applause from people because, Erika has been looking kind of crazy this season with the drinking and using that as a way to basically escape from the ongoing legalities that she's been dealing with for the past 2 years regarding her husband with dementia who stole all that money from them damn accident victims. What was it, the plane victims? Now, Beauvais mentioned that Rinna's daughter does mention Rinna's daughter in the book and maintains she didn't say anything that wasn't already discussed in the previous season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And that's what she was doing. She was basically recapping her experience around that scene. Lisa had a problem with it. And then Garcelle, being nice, was like, I'm going to remove it. First of all, I'd have been like, I'm not removing shit. Because first of all, it was discussed on the show. You knew what it was. You was looking for a moment. And you trying to come to me. And it's like, I'm not removing this shit. Why am I removing this? Because you want to be... She always trying to act like she's reenacting one of the characters she played on fucking Melrose Place. Like, everything is not, some dramatic acting moment. Because you're not getting no acting roles. You want to try to channel the Taylor character. I think her name was Taylor on Melrose Place that she played on the show, or Billy Reed from Days of Our Lives. So to appease the situation, Beauvais decided to take the part out of her memoir and posted a second edition without it. The one, but see, here's the thing, Diana was trying to throw her little shade. I think she's one and done already. Diana tried to throw her little shade at Garcelle, but guess what? At least unlike you with Room 23, her book had a second edition. You talking about it was sold out. That's why they made them. No, when a book sells out, you make more copies. Nobody was buying your book of prostitutes. Allegedly. Because I don't want Zsa Zsa Gabor Jr. trying to send me a goddamn cease and desist. So now, here's the thing. I'm glad for Garcelle. He apologized, but I'm calling bullshit on this damn apology. Because first of all, I don't know how it took the reaction of the audience for you to say something. And you waited until you got on your Sirius XM show that I don't think like Watch What Happens Live, nobody's paying attention to send a formal apology. This is the same shit I said before with him, where, so now you got me rubbing my nose. Y'all gonna be thinking I'm Nicki Minaj just giving coke, where every time I'm rubbing my nose, it's the allergies. I do have allergies. I don't be doing no booger sugar, child. But anyway, so now I done distracted myself. Anyway, so back to us. So with his apology, I feel like you were just trying to save face. And maybe he is genuinely sincere, but you know what? My problem has always been with Andy, the fact that he has his favorites. He tends to give way more leniency towards certain people and not others. And I hate that. And I remember hearing somebody go and say, oh, well, we're human. I think Claudia Jordan said that. She was something like, we're all human. This and that. First of all, your job as a moderator is to be fair, regardless of whether or not we cool outside the show. And this is why I know a lot of people give RuPaul, flack. But I like the way that he does his show. Even though it's too many of them damn Drag Race shows. We're going to have to, when Drag Race comes around, we're going to have to talk about the list of shows. I think it's like 12 new spinoffs that's coming out in 2023 alone. And new seasons of those spinoffs. Plus new spinoffs. That's coming out in 2020. It's like oversaturation, child. But anyway, the one thing that's what I love about RuPaul, where he's on the show and he's like neutral. He's not biased. He's like, it's all about like, I'm focused on the show. If I see you, hey, how you doing? But I have to be fair when I'm judging and doing what I need to do for the show. Andy Cohen is way too close to a lot of these women on these shows. Like he had some of them, probably all of them. Well, this is before Garcelle, but he's had half the cast of Beverly Hills, of the ones that was there, of the bitches of Beverly Hills, the troublemaker ones. I believe they were all at his baby shower for the first kid. Like he's too close to these women. They have his phone number. He's like yapping with them. Like we've heard him say this on Watch What Happens Live and in other programs. He's too close to these women. And to me, I feel like if I'm hosting a show, I have to be neutral. I can't be too lovey-dovey and too close with these women, because then you're so blinded by the behavior that you can't see that, okay, what they're saying and doing is problematic. RuPaul gets paid, trust me. Don't get it. Oh no, he definitely gets paid. But I'm talking about, like, he's making a shit ton of money from these Drag Race shows. But I'm talking about how when he goes into the show, he's very neutral when it comes to the girls. Like, he doesn't really interact with them unless the cameras are rolling. He's not chit chatting with these women outside of the show. He's not hanging out with the cast members of the cast, certain cast members of the Housewives. Because I was expecting him to really go and hold Lisa Rinna and Erika and a lot of them accountable for certain things that they were saying on the episode. But I felt like, to me personally, since we already sliding up in it, that he did not really. I felt relatively disappointed with the third part. Like, y'all hyped this up. I want to give a shout out to Oil. Let me wrap this thing up with Andy. So it's cute. If Garcelle wants to, hey Robert, how you doing? If Garcelle wants to forgive Andy for whatever, that's her. But for me, I'm giving him the side eye. I don't trust it. I don't trust him. He is sneaky. From what I heard, he's a Gemini, so I'm not surprised. They two-faced. No shade, but shade. Or no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. So he is, to me, there's a bias with him. So I feel like either y'all hire a new person to come in or y'all get him a co-host, like y'all did with Nicki Minaj when she did the Potomac one. I feel like y'all need to either give him a co-host where you could bring in like a blog, one of those, those bloggers that are all over TikTok or YouTube, where they do those recaps of the Beverly Hills shows. Bring one of them in so they can hold you accountable. Because I always thought when you do the show that what they would do is they had someone who, when he reads the cards and he'll go and say, Sarah from Cupcake, Idaho said this, and then he reads the card and there's some shady comment that a lot of us is thinking. I thought maybe you could say that and be like, oh, well, so and so from this city said it, so therefore we need to kind of go in and you need to ask the question, you need to push. But to me, he's too close to these women. They need to either bring in somebody with new fresh eyes or get him a co-host. But otherwise, he's made these reunions unbearable to watch. And I have to be honest, I feel like this Beverly Hills has been unwatchable. These women have become so nasty and so mean. It's not fun to watch anymore. So y'all need to do some cleaning over there. Y'all need to do some house cleaning. So now Erika, to get into the Beverly Hills thing, Erika discussed her drinking. She took responsibility, was like, you know what? I was basically just drinking and drinking a little too much because I was trying to forget all the legality drama that I was dealing with my husband and this and the other. She was vindicated on one case. So got a lot more cases going against us. So, okay, one down. Hooray for you. Round of applause. But you still got them other cases you got to deal with. I do feel like, the thing with the earrings, it still made her look bad. It also made her look bad when, Kyle was like, yeah, we've been trying to defend you in a lot of situations, but however, when you was like basically F the victims, I couldn't stand by that. And instead of, I was like, girl, we were on your side, but then she still refused to back down from it. And she was just like, but I still don't feel bad. So it's like, sis, this is why people have a problem with you. Because you lack empathy. That's all they were saying. Just have some empathy. Well, do they have empathy for me? They don't care about you. What the hell they care about some rich woman flaunting your riches, your private plane, your big house, or your fashions and your jewelry, which most likely came from the money your ex-husband stole from victims he was representing. Why they gotta feel sorry for you? Because you no longer the trophy wife? These people are trying to get paid for money that's owed to them. They don't care about you trying to be some pretty princess. A leech off women bickering. He is in no comparison to Rue because Rue doesn't interject. Exactly, that's what I was saying. It's like Rue doesn't interject. He doesn't involve himself too much in drama. And I think maybe what Andy's problem is he gets so caught up in the drama that he forgets probably that he's a moderator, that he's supposed to be hosting a show. You're not these ladies' good girlfriend. And this is what I was saying earlier when I was talking about, when I was talking about X-Rated NYC. That we need the content of like the queer people and this that, and the other. When you got these gay men who are powerful, like a Carlos King and an Andy Cohen, who will compete with each other in the content of those two are two peas in a pod, being messy and getting so wrapped up in women's drama. And they trying to say men aren't interested. You know, insane. We're gonna get to that homophobic slur comment. So before the episode even aired, I did write an article about Erika Jayne accusing Kathy of dropping a homophobic slur. So yeah, we got the Erika thing that pissed me off, and also I love the fact that they brought up the whole Kyle and Dorit laughing at Jax getting cussed out by Erika when she was drunk. And they were trying to justify it. Oh, when we watched it back, we were horrified. I even heard recently that Mauricio, there was some, damn, I forgot the girl's name. The Mo show, I think it was, DM'd Mauricio and was getting on him because, you know, I don't know if y'all know this, but Mauricio has a new $1 million listing S type of show coming out on Netflix. I'd rather watch another season of Bling Empire before I watch that crap. And first of all, can I just tell you, I started watching Bling Empire today. Can I tell you I love that show? That is like one of my favorite shows. And they got a New York spinoff too, so I can't wait for that. But anyway, so I know I got a little too excited for the Asian community. And them showing off their jewelry. There's some real rich bitches over there. But anyway, so what was I at? Oh, so Mauricio spoke out and basically said that try to blame it on production, said that producers did not give them the context of why, you know, the whole scenario. In regards to, so when they said, when we watched the episode back, we were mortified. No, you were mortified because y'all got dragged on social media. I don't know why these people can't be honest. One thing I've learned about this season, especially because I don't think I really paid attention that much back then. Maybe because there was always one particular girl on the show that they was going after, and I was like, get him, Jade. But this season, there's been so many appalling ass people on these shows that I was just like, you know what? I think the veil finally uplifted from my eyes, and I really started to see these for the witches that they are. What I learned is that these people do not like taking accountability until you throw it in their face. Because I don't know how you need context of any kind when somebody is telling you, when literally, I'm probably going to have to embellish because I don't remember or paraphrase. I don't remember exactly which that. Did you hear that did you hear when that Erika cursed at Garcelle's 14-year-old son? And basically Mauricio was saying, oh yeah, she had to curse a kid, a child, something or another more often, something like that. And they sit up in there laughing like it's funny. And I'm like, huh? So you need context, more context for cursing out a child. Like, that's common sense, you would think, for an adult, correct? You would think that, if you curse at a child, someone with a fucking brain would be like, something ain't right there. Why is she cursing at a child? I don't care if she's drunk or not. You don't disrespect someone's child. Because let it have been Portia. And I remember on social media, they was dragging Portia, which in my opinion is wrong. I don't feel like anybody should be going on social media cursing at, disrespecting, or trolling somebody's child. The way they trolled, we may have to go over a little bit. The way they trolled Jax, who got a bulk of a lot of trolling this season. They sent their pictures of his mother's Playboy spread. They tell him, calling him all kinds of N-words and putting their knee on his neck if he didn't have a white father. Like, they would say all kinds of crazy stuff to this boy. And I truly believe that Diana's behind them bots, talking about she got money, so therefore she could look into it. So you're trying to say Garcelle's broke? Like, nobody can afford to look into somebody harassing? Like, lady, I don't need your charity. And those are fighting words, child. So, yeah, I already told about the lack of empathy, and that's what we wanted, but Erika was just a mess with that. So, yeah, you wasn't getting away with that. So, I don't know. Like I said, I am not watching Mauricio's tired ass show, because he wants to be, I feel like him and Kyle want to be Kathy They want to be the Hilton so bad, and I don't even think the Hiltons are going to the to Kyle's daughter's wedding. I don't, but I'm jumping the gun. So, what Twitter bounce off? You talking about Elon Musk? Child, nobody care about that ugly ass man. And we already know about the racism that's going on over there. Like people, I know a lot of people are jumping ship. Tony Braxton said she's leaving, but I gotta stick with this thing because we got this and we got the I was gonna say Beverly Leslie Jordan tribute that I did with the voice and all that stuff. So then Kathy in her little pink dress. First of all, I didn't like the fabric. Can I just be honest and say I didn't like none of the women's outfits? I think I said that before. But yeah, I didn't like none of their looks. I'm like, were y'all all on a budget this season? Like, what was happening? You ever run out of coins over in Beverly Hills? Y'all all broke? Because what was going on with them looks? The looks were not given what need to be given. So the lady is not wanting to drink Kathy's tequila, and Kathy got upset about it. First of all, Kathy is a Pisces. I live with a Pisces, so I know how y'all are. When y'all don't get y'all way, if somebody don't do what y'all want to do, y'all do throw a temper tantrum. So I do believe that Kathy was feeling a kind of way, and I do think Lisa did deliberately decide to order her friend, what she said, Kendall Jenner's tequila. I'm like, first of all, you do not know them Kardashians like that. You want to be a Kardashian. You want to mold your children to be like the Kardashians, as in Kendall and Kylie. But they ain't got the range, just like you ain't got the range to be Kris Jenner. Which, by the way, is a friend of Kathy Hilton, by the way. And I guarantee you, when the shit hits the fan, Kris Jenner will choose Kathy Hilton before she chooses Lisa Dan Rinna. So the lady's not wanting to drink Kathy's tequila, and then Kathy was getting upset, and she was like she had to leave. And then let's talk about, and then we have to talk about, first of all, can I just say the Atlanta fashions wasn't given either. I did not like any, I just feel like a lot of these reunions have been a letdown. I didn't like the looks for the Atlanta one either. Them clothes was giving me prom dress tees. It was giving very much prom dress realness. But okay, so let's get to the F word situation. So Kathy Hilton, how it all started, is saying that during the Aspen trip, because this is the whole big blow up. First of all, they caught none of it on camera, so I'm like, I don't know what to believe. So they were out in Aspen. They went to a club, which wasn't filmed at all. Andy spending budget on college things. What's that? College Hill? He don't do that show. If that's what you mean. That's over on BET. You know, he keeps trying to say that our show isn't Love and Hip Hop. Our show isn't the Bad Girls Club. But you could have fooled me because your show is trashier than those shows. I feel like Beverly Hills is becoming trashier than like what we see on the Zeus network. So he tries to sit up here and say his shows are not like that, but you could have fooled me, child. So anyway, the situation that went on with the Aspen trip. So the ladies went out to a club. Kathy with them was, because didn't they say they were doing some sort of conga line? Why did they bring up the conga line? I feel like the story keeps changing. So they were saying they were dancing. Kathy went up to the DJ. The DJ wasn't paying her no mind. He was busy doing his job as in mixing records. He was looking at her. She was trying to get the attention. I think she said she went and spoke to the manager. The manager was like, is there a way that I could pay you money and the DJ could play a couple of songs for us? The guy was like, it's too busy. Can't do that. She was like, well, I guess I forget the other places where she said, but it was somewhere outside of the United States. I guess in Italy or France or whatever, this is what they do. So he was like, where are you from? Because I guess he was getting annoyed with her. LA. He was like, why don't you go back to LA? Child, I gagged when he said that. But I get the frustration. What people need to understand is that because I know so many DJs, I have a lot of friends that are DJs. DJs don't want to be bombarded by a bunch of uppity people coming in snobs, whether or not you're a Kathy Hilton or you're some goddamn hipster from Brooklyn. They don't want you coming into their establishment, flaunting your money, telling them, can you play me a couple of, I'll give you $1,000 if you play like Michael Jackson and all these other people. Because, you know, Kathy was friends with Michael Jackson. Can you play this, that, and the third? It's like, no, I can't. I'm busy. Like, first of all, DJs don't even like you bothering them in that way. But I've known DJs who have taken some money if you pay them. So we're not going to go that far. But yeah, I know some DJs that get very frustrated when you try to bother them and act like they're a damn jukebox. Trying to do your damn request like y'all calling up Z100. So I guess she got upset and she was like to grab Kyle, was like, we're leaving now. And Kyle's like, I don't want to leave. Like, what's going on? Like, I guess she was being demanding. She didn't have context. She didn't understand what's going on. Being like, okay, let's go back to the house, whatever. It's like, okay, what's happening? Like, let me know what's going on. Because usually if you're trying to drag me out in some shit, I need to know what's going on, what's about to pop off before I make any kind of decision. That's just me. I don't just be like, okay, yeah. Like, no. You're not just going to drag me out of some place because you're mad about something. I need context. So that way, okay, now somebody disrespected you. Okay, let's go. Fuck this place. That's how I would have been. So I don't know if Kathy articulated that, but according to Kyle, she didn't. Erika claims that Kathy referred to the guy and called him the F word. She said the word. There were people on social media who were pissed that brought it up as like, how's she saying the F word so freely? Y'all know what the F word is. It's a slur that people use towards the gay community. So that word was used, allegedly. Kathy said she didn't say it. Even before, like if y'all watched the package that they did when she came out, she even asked Lisa with all this that she was claiming. She said, you want to swear on the Bible? You want to take and then she said later on, you want to take a lie detector test? Looked like Lisa's eyes lit up. So I don't know what to believe. And I think, you know what, all the accusations that they said that came out about the F word, that she was going to take down NBC. She was calling Dorit stupid, which quiet as it's kept, Dorit is stupid. So I would believe that she would say that. I mean, I don't believe Kathy said it. I believe Lisa said it because Lisa did imply that Dorit was stupid when they argued back in the day. So I do think Dorit is stupid. First of all, she had nothing to say. And you know, she get long-winded when she say her stuff. But it's funny how she had nothing to say at this reunion. She chimed in to kind of follow along and get along, trying to say the C word is not as offensive as evil. That evil's worse than the C word. See you next Tuesday? Really? I know a lot of women that can't. Those are fighting words. You call them see you next Tuesday. Evil is like, okay, so if see you next Tuesday is offensive, why wasn't is less offensive? Why was evil said on TV, but that other word was bleeped? So clearly, y'all trying to play in my face. That was from earlier when they were trying to say the whole thing with Garcelle. So yeah, here's this thing with Kathy Hilton, because apparently Kathy Hilton is fighting with her sister and said this. Basically, if I could read it, it said, why would Kyle, to those saying, why would Kyle let Rinna do this? Understand one thing, she has not let them do it. She is behind them doing it. It's how she has operated all along and people still aren't seeing it. Rinna attempts to destroy her acquaintances. Kyle does the same to her own family and friends. She will do anything for money and social status, whether it's laughing at 14-year-old black boy getting verbally abused and cheering it on with her husband, or destroying her sister Kim at her most vulnerable. There is nothing too low for Kyle Richards. And that's what she liked. She didn't write it, she liked it. And Paris Hilton was on social media liking stuff too. Just so y'all know. So I was gagging over that. Yeah, so and then what also sent me was like, how was it that Lisa was sitting there saying all these accusations about your sister, talking so much crap about your sister, but then when Dorit was trying to interject and saying like, she just wants you to take some sort of responsibility. Like Kyle was just sitting there allowing her sister to get bludgeoned to death by Erika and Lisa, the Bopsy twins, and she said nothing. But the minute Dorit tries to come in and help them two out, stay out of it, Dorit. It's between us. Excuse you? So why you coming at her, but not the other women? So to me, it's just like I just don't understand. The math isn't mathing. So I'm like, I want to read a better friend to me because I'd be like, bitch. First of all, why you not saying it to them, but you coming at me? It's because Dorit is not like it's easy to come at her than there's those other women. I really don't understand why people are so scared of Lisa and Erika. Like, what is it about them that is so scary? Those women are all bark and no bite. Like, I've seen even Lisa goes on social media and yeah, she's been saying a lot of nasty things, especially about the tweet about what was it, Paris Hilton and getting kidnapped and the sexual abuse that endured and all that stuff. Like, kids are supposed to be off limits though, but you brought that up. So that tweet basically came up because she felt like Kathy felt like Kyle did not stand up for her. And I do feel like Kyle doesn't stand up for her sister. I think in so many ways, because they're half sisters, I think Kyle is envious of Kathy. Kathy is married to a Hilton. Kathy has so much wealth and money and status. Kyle wants that. Kyle and her husband want that. And I think there's kind of been this ugly tug of war that I feel like these two women need, and it's beyond the show. Because at one point, remember, Kathy was mad at Kyle when she came out with that American Woman TV series that lasted like one season. I think it was on the Paramount Network or something before they went to a streaming service. Lasted one season when it was based on the family. And they hated her for it. There was a big fight between the sisters. They weren't speaking to her, that sort of thing. So they felt like Kyle was trying to exploit the family. To me, I'm trying to think, whose family dynamic, sibling dynamic is worse? Is it Kyle and Kathy or Teresa and Joe? As in Joe Gorga and Teresa Giudice. I don't even know if she goes by her new husband's last name, but we'll just keep calling her Giudice. So I wonder whose sibling rivalry is even worse. It's sad that when family gets caught up in this situation, I really hope that the sisters work it out. But until Kyle learns to take responsibility for her actions and this, that, and the third, I don't see that happening. So good luck to you, ladies. At this point, I really feel like it's time to start cleaning house. Erika, I don't think she's going anywhere, so she can stay. Lisa's got to go. Dorit needs to be demoted to friend of. Crystal needs to be demoted to friend of. She had no storyline. I live for Garcelle and I live for Sutton, so they can stay. I think that's the whole cast, right? And Kyle, she ain't going nowhere. She wants to be the queen damn bee of the show so bad. And I feel like she envies her damn sister and was doing whatever she wanted to kind of show this evil, like really take her sister down, but didn't want to participate too much because them other women would have blew her shit up and threw her under the bus. So, but I feel like it's time to bring some people back. Like I said, bring Camille back on. I would like to see LVP come back. I don't think she is. And I think that there needs to be some fresh blood. Cherie, as in Trey mama, as in Will Smith first baby mother / wife, she was a bore. She did not come back. The rumors are Kimora Lee Simmons is being approached. I hope she comes on. I would love to see that. We need some more allies on the show. Somebody that can check these broads. Also, I heard they're looking at Jennifer Coolidge. I like Jennifer Coolidge. I love her as an actress. Girl, don't do this show. Please don't. So I hope that's a rumor. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. If I missed out on anything, y'all could definitely leave it in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about this season of Beverly Hills. Who y'all would like to see be a part of the new season? Who needs to be demoted? Who needs to go? Who needs to stay? Who needs to sashay away? All that good stuff. So yeah. Now, this is a packed show, and I'm gonna have to squeeze it all in, ain't it? But yeah, being this the show, we could go on as much as we want. But here's the tea. Let's get into this Leslie Jordan tribute because I was trying to figure out where to put it. I did have it halfway through the episode, and I was like, what? It'll probably, I saw the production, felt it would probably fit as a closing out situation. So I had to sit and figure out, God, how am I going to really put this into words? So I have to say, I was really devastated when I heard the news. Like, I didn't even believe it when I heard that Leslie Jordan passed away this week after suffering from, what was it? That he was, he basically suffered some type of medical situation. He was driving, he crashed on the side of a building. So one of the things I will say is that, he was someone that I definitely liked seeing. Every time I watched him, I lived for watching him. I was watching him long before the whole TikTok movement, or not even TikTok, Instagram. So it was like Instagram, he was on, he became more famous in his later years because of the whole pandemic. He went out there, he was trying to figure out, okay, there was so many other people who were like, you know what, how am I going to figure out how to maneuver and find something to do during this pandemic? Leslie Jordan just got on the Instagram and was up there being himself, unapologetic, older gay man who we don't see enough of that. There's so many of y'all that be scared to get older or dying off because, that fear of being, that Peter Pan syndrome. But the one thing I loved about Leslie Jordan is that he embraced being this swishy, effeminate, short gay man. Being funny, he never decided to lose his accent. I know one of my really good friends, DJ Tennessee, they're from Tennessee. They're both from Tennessee. So that I know that accent very well. And I love the fact that he kept it because, when you go to Hollywood, they always want you to change your name. They want you to change your accent. They want you to lose all parts of what makes you you. So, the one thing I loved about him was that he embraced who he truly was. But yes, he has been acting for over 3 decades. But his big breakout role, yes, was when he played Beverly Leslie on Will and Grace. And, whenever he showed up as Beverly Leslie, that was like, he gave me my life. So he will definitely be someone that will be missed within the community. There have been a lot of celebrities who shouted him out. Well, basically gave condolences. It's all on the website. You saw a little picture on the side where you can go. But yeah, Sean Hayes, Trinity the Tuck, Billy Eichner, Ellen DeGeneres, Jim Parsons, Linda Carter, Lance Bass, Michelle Visage, RuPaul, Daniel Franzese, Lady Bunny, George Takei, Wilson Cruz, Bobby Burke, Johnny Sibley, Cornbread, from Drag Race, Johnny Weir, Jay Rodriguez, Nina West, and so many others have given their condolences to Leslie Jordan. And so you could definitely check out those articles and stuff on my website, chrisavalon.com. But in the meantime, let me shut up so y'all can just see this little tribute that we put together in honor of the late, great Leslie Jordan. Roll the clip.
Leslie Jordan was born on April 29, 1955, and has been in the entertainment industry for over 30 years, appearing on such hit TV shows Ally McBeal, Ugly Betty, American Horror Story Coven, and most recently, the hit Mayim Bialik series, Call Me Kat. My favorite role of his will always be as socialite Karen Walker's shady arch nemesis, Beverly Leslie, on the long-running hit series, Will and Grace. Now, speaking of American Horror Story, a fun fact, he didn't immediately recognize co-star Lady Gaga when they crossed paths on set. In fact, he actually thought she was an extra. In the later part of his career, he would go on to become an Instagram sensation during the COVID-19 pandemic, amassing 5.8 million followers. And in April of 2021, he released his autobiography, How You Doing? Misadventures and Mischief from a Life Well Lived. According to reports, Jordan died after he crashed his car into the side of a building in Los Angeles after suffering some sort of medical emergency while behind the wheel. He was 67 years old. Yet another beacon of light in the entertainment industry gone too soon. Leslie Jordan, you will most certainly be missed.
Well, hello, fellow hunker-downers. Coming to you high on half a Ambien. My doctor prescribes 10 milligrams when I can't sleep, and I get so wound up over all this. But I only take a half, otherwise I eat everything in the house. But look, another way I calm down is I write in my journal, and I put little stickers I decorate. I'm a high school cheerleader stuck in a 65-year-old male body. My Violette stickers came today. Look, aren't they beautiful? I think I fell out of the womb and landed in my mother's high heels. I just like things pretty. I think that's why homosexuals were put on this earth, just to make things pretty. Rabbits.
Rabbits. You know, he always used to crack me up. I was like, yeah, I was a follower of his on Instagram, and so I got to see, you know, always follow his little videos and have a little kiki. Oh yeah. So I guess this is Megan Mullally speaking out. Also, Robert Price said Jerry O'Connell and Max Greenfield spoke out as well, because I think Max Greenfield did American Horror Story Coven with, I mean, not Coven, the American Horror Story season that he did. What was it? Cult? It's giving Cult. Or the one with Lady Gaga where they was the vampire season. This was so many American Horror Stories. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching, because it's the end of the show. Tune in next week for a brand new episode of The Rundown, where we run down the latest entertainment news and trending hot topics. Also, be sure to follow all my social media platforms. Click like and subscribe, because it definitely helps with the algorithm. So once again, thank you all for watching, and for all of you that sat and all the way through the end, thank you. All this is much appreciated. Also want to thank once again all the new subscribers that I've been gaining within the last month, and those who have been rocking with me and appreciate what I'm doing with the shows, because you know I have shows upon shows. So once again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, ciao, darling.